we can speak to Jean-Yves Colin from the Asia Center Research Institute. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
24. It's interesting because this is the first time a U.S. president has visited a South Korean leader so freshly put in office. And he's a first-time politician, no foreign policy experience. Does either side know what to expect?
Well, I think what is important, it's the first visit of Joe Biden to Asia, while he came 3 times to Europe because of the Ukraine and climate change meetings. So it's for Japan and for Korea, it's important for them to have the U.S. president there. In South Korea, as you mentioned, President Yoon has been elected on March 9. He's fully in charge since May 10. He's unknown, in a way unknown to the Koreans because he was general prosecutor before and not a leading politician, and certainly unknown to President Biden. So the first thing is to know each other. It's not the same case in Japan because Joe Biden already met 3 times Prime Minister Kishida. Mm-hmm. For Korea, I think the main issue is, in a way, North Korea, more than the Chinese environment. It's North Korea. Why? It's because since early this year, North Korea made about 20 missiles tests, and is likely to make a nuclear test very soon. And secondly, there is this surge of COVID-19 issue since 2 weeks ago in North Korea. And on both subjects, North Korea do not respond. So it's the main issue for the new president of South Korea.
Who has a different policy from his predecessor on how to deal with the North,
well,
too, right?
I think the former president was more
willing to engage
himself into a discussion with North Korea. Also, in his first speech, the President Yoon made a kind of ouverture, a kind of opening to North Korea, but making clear that he will make a deal with North Korea if North Korea clearly engage itself into denuclearization, which is not obvious.
Yeah, not very evident at this moment. A number of economic security issues confronting Biden on this trip. What is his priority?
I think with regard to South Korea and in a way to Japan, one very important issue is what I would call logistics. How to bring more security into the trade, into maritime logistics, even with military support. And also, because it's important for South Korea and also for Japan, but as you know, firms like Samsung or the other ones in Taiwan or in Japan are very important in terms of chips. So to bring security into providing chips to the U.S. firms is also important. So that's why the first visit of Joe Biden in South Korea is the visit of a Samsung Electronics big plant.
You mentioned at the top that this is Biden's first trip to Asia as U.S. president. Meanwhile, he already been to Europe a number of times.
Yes.
Back when Biden was vice president, the president at the time, Barack Obama, had talked about the pivot to Asia. Is this less of a priority for the Biden administration?
No, I think it's still the main priority, but the pivot to Asia, as you know, the issue between the U.S. and China. So it will be the main, in a way, the main point on the agenda during the Japanese visit with the Quad meeting, and also because Japan is very much on track with the U.S. on the Chinese issue. Although, of course, when you are in the U.S. and when you are in Japan or in South Korea, you don't have exactly the same reaction to China.
Yeah, there's a number of hotspots in Asia that are on the radar in terms of China's ambitions or perhaps Russia's ambitions. Considering Taiwan, for instance, what China might do in terms of moving on Taiwan. There's the South China Sea. There's also the India-China border. How will Joe Biden rally support against China's growing ambitions?
I think it's not very difficult in Japan because since, I would say, the last 2 years, and especially since the end of last year, when the former Prime Minister Abe made a speech, a very pro-Taiwanese speech, obviously Japan doesn't hesitate to show its support to Taiwan and to the US policy on the Taiwanese Straits. On the other hand, Japan is quite involved in this issue, not only because of Taiwan, but because of Japanese territories. As you know, there is a small island which is 150 kilometers away from Taiwan. Next, you have the Senkaku, which is a matter of dispute between Japan and China. And in a way, still further, you have the Ryukyu, the Kyushu prefecture. And these issues are very much domestic issues for Japan. Japan has also another issue which the US may help is Russia. Because, of course, Japan was leading and driving force in Asia in favor of sanctions against Russia. But there is an increase of tensions between Russia and Japan regarding what the Japanese call the Northern Territories, the small 4 islands up Hokkaido. And there was also some Russian military exercise in the Okhotsk Sea, which frightened Japan. So Japan feels a little bit surrounded by Russia in the north and China in the south.
All right, Jean-Yves, Colin, thank you very much from the
Thank you very
Asia
much indeed.
Research Institute. As he was